All right, done. Right, I'll be sharing you my screen. All right, okay. So as what all of you have been informed, okay, all the slides and also the video from the lectures that I have delivered will be embedded in our e-campus. Okay, so you can always go back to the e-campuses and sorry to the e-campus, and you can find all the slides and also the video lecture already uploaded and embedded in our respective arts and science of negotiation e-campus. Okay, sorry. All right, so for today, we'll be doing something on agents, constituencies, and also audiences. All right, so when we look at the term agents, all right, sometimes we are quite familiar with a third party in every negotiation process that we are going through. Okay, for example, sometimes you are unaware of the, let's say you are looking for a property, a house or apartment or something, so you are unaware of the marketplace, you are unaware of the pricing of the current pricing that we are having right now, you are unaware of who to contact, all right, where to get your financial support in terms of loan and everything, how would you register your interest to the, what you call it, to the uh, to the developers and things. So sometimes you will rely all of the questions that you are having in your mind to agents. All right. So these will be the middleman that will help you. All right. In searching for the things that you are desired. All right. We also have constituencies. All right. Constituency is actually, if we are looking at a very technical term, all right, is a group of people who are um, your loyal supporters, if we are talking about in terms of political kind of terms. Okay, so you're gonna have a political representative, and all of these supporters relying on you will be called as constituency. All right, so a group of people who support or are likely to support a particular person. All right, it can be a person, a product, an idea, a suggestion, and etc. All right, and also the audiences. All right, so audiences can be the customer themselves. All right, can be the constituencies themselves, and also can be those who we call bystanders, or those who are not like directly involved in the negotiation, but the one who in a way will be affected by the negotiation process. All right, for example, when you are looking for houses, of course you'll be looking for other services as well, for example, to do the wiring of your house, to do some renovation on your house, or to help you with what um, to help you with assembling the grill, iron grill to yours and things like that. So these are some of the what we call bystanders, those who are not like directly gonna be affected by the transaction that you are having, but those who will also gain, all right, from the transaction. Okay. All right. So the objective of identifying these three particular terms is to help you to look at negotiation and how negotiation changes when, number one, we move beyond simple one-to-one negotiation and add other parties to the process. Before this, we are always aware that we are negotiating with another party or another person directly. So this time around, we're going to add another person or another party, all right, in between us and also the people that we are negotiating with. Number two, negotiators also act as agents, okay, in the process, because they will be doing all the field work, all right, or the table talking, all right. They will be representing you, so they will be acting. The agents are negotiators, and negotiators are also agent as well, all right. Whereas we ourselves, all right, as the customer, all right, appointed the agent, and we will become constituencies, all right. So when they are not necessarily presenting their own issue and interest, but are also representing the perspective of others who may or may not be at the table. This is what we call agency relationship. All right. All right. Be or not being at the table, meaning that sometimes you will follow your agent. All right. Your agent will act as the negotiator on your behalf. Sometimes you will be there. All right. Like physically, right, beside them at the table when you are negotiating. Sometimes, all right, the negotiator or the agent will go on their own representing you. You will not be there on the table besides them. All right, that is what we meant by, all right, sometimes you may or may not be at the table. Okay. All right, number of parties in a negotiation. All right, number one, we can go back to the simplest negotiation form, all right, which is a negotiation dyad, all right, or negotiation, a conversation involving or a transaction or interaction involving negotiating, all right. Two isolated individuals, or known as negotiators, negotiate for their own needs and also interests. So this is the most traditional point or the most traditional practice of negotiating. Number two, we have more than two negotiators. All right, although each is actually responsible for expressing his or her own position and needs, the agreement has to reflect the view of all parties. All right, so although some parties with lower power may be forced to go along with the agreement by the others. So when there are more than two negotiators, there is a strong possibility that some parties will form alliances, all right, searching for strength in numbers or in the coincidence of their interests. All right, so sometimes, all right, you will go there alone, all right, and then the person that you are negotiating with are bringing their alliance or bringing their advisors. Sometimes you can bring your advisors as well. All right. So this is what we meant by we are having more than two negotiators. For example, uh, when you yourself are looking for a house, let's say if I'm looking for a house, I'll bring my wife as well, all right, as my advisors. All right. So there are more than two negotiators in this particular transaction. All right, number three, within or between teams of negotiators. So a team is two or more parties on the same side, all right, who are collectively advocating the same position and interest, advocating or supporting, all right, or upholding the same position and also interest. So the intra-team dynamics, all right, within the team dynamics, all right, whether some members have more power or status than the others, meaning that in some particular teams, all right, not everyone will be holding the same power, not everyone will be holding the same authority, all right. It will affect the inter-team negotiation process, right? Because sometimes if you don't have much to say or if you don't have much authority in a particular teams, all right, sometimes your decision or your interest or your opinion will be um, how to say this, a bit neglected, all right, because you do know that in your particular team there's a person who is upholding the key towards all decision. For example, I'm not being sexist, all right, but sometimes, okay, sometimes, all right, should be sometimes the wife will ask the opinion from, I mean, will ask their husband to come up with the final decision. But sometimes, all right, but I'm not saying sometimes, but most of the times, the husband, all right, will also ask the wife to make the final say as well, all right. Although the decision is on their hand, they prefer to have the decision being collectively decided with their wife as well, right? So this will affect the inter-team negotiation process. You and your wife as a team, and also another party, which is maybe the realtor or the what you call that, the developer, and also let's say their agents or maybe the lawyer that they are bringing. Okay. So moreover, as the number of negotiators increases, the likelihood of finding common ground and thereby satisfying all interests usually decreases. All right, because more heads will bring um, much more confusion, much more question to be asked. All right, we'll be taking much more time. All right, on deciding on what to do. All right, in the negotiation process. Sorry. And then the agents and the constituencies. So the negotiator is an agent, and the individual he or she is representing are the constituent, or also called as principal. So a constituent is a party who has designated someone else, who has appointed someone else, which is the agent, to represent his or her position and interest in a negotiation. If we go with our wife, right? So our wife is not the agent. Right? If you bring your husband, so your husband is not the agent. But agent is somebody uh, that you straight away appoint to represent you on a negotiation table. All right.
So one,
Yeah. Sorry.
agent, as the agent,
Okay.
do they need to have like a proper license to say that they are the certified agent, or it can be anybody that we appoint to represent us in any negotiation process?
All right. Most of the time, I'm not quite familiar with other agents, but if you are talking about property agents, usually they're gonna have um, what was the name of the card? I forgot the name of the card. It's a card where you are actually appointed as somebody who is authorized to be and also to supervise on a site, let's say housing site or maybe a property site or something like that. So these particular agents, all right, they will be appointed by the company because they work with the company, all right, and also they have the right to be a free agent as well, meaning that they can also help other customers not only to deal with their company but also to deal with other companies as well. It depends on how the employers, right, are restricting their boundaries. Okay, but if we are talking about, I think if you are talking about salesperson, which mean agents who are selling cars or something like that, I don't think they have such a requirement when they are dealing with customers. But if you are talking about property agent, yeah, yes, they have a particular card. I forgot the name of the card that whereby you are authorized to supervise and also to bring people to construction sites.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think like for insurance also, for insurance like a
Yes,
motorcycle
insurance.
shop,
Yes.
they are authorized agent to sell the insurance for a certain company. So they are considered an agent.
Yes, they have to be an official agent whereby they have to go through training, I think courses as well. All right, so that they are very aware of the policies and also what kind of insurance to be offered to their customers, not just simply selling insurance like you are selling top up cards or something like that. All right, thank you, Madam Khoo, for adding. All right, where were we? Okay, agents and constituencies. Right. So two common examples of an agent and a constituent or principal are an attorney and a client. All right, or you can say a salesperson and her boss or manager. All right. So rather than the boss and also the manager sitting on the negotiation table, they will just straight away send their employer, which will play the role of an agent representing their company. All right. And like what Madam Kut said just now, some agents, right, they must go through particular proper trainings. They must go through, proper courses so that they can be certified, all right, as agent in certain fields. For example, insurance agent or maybe real property agent or things like that. All right. Okay. All right, so they choose agents both to advocate their interest, to uphold their interest to the other negotiator, and also to report back accurately on what has emerged during the discussion. All right, that's why sometimes when we saw, when we see the Western movies, right, whatever it is, go and talk to my lawyer. I'm not gonna be the one who will be talking to you. So the after conversation uh, will be only between the agent and also his or her clients. Okay. All right. And then we have bystanders, audiences, and also third parties. All right. Bystanders are those who may have some stake in a negotiation and who care about the substantive issues or the process by which a resolution is reached, but who are not firmly represented at the table. So bystanders are usually those who they have some say or they will be slightly affected by the negotiation process, but they are not the one who will be, paying. They will not the one who will be utilizing the things that they are negotiating with. They will be slightly affected, right, by the negotiation process. So bystanders frequently follow the negotiation, express public or private views to the negotiator about the potential outcome or the process, and in some way are affected by what happens. All right. So the closest bystanders that we can have during our conversation is like the previous example I gave you, your husband or your wife, all right, who accompany you in a transaction or a negotiation process. So these bystanders, all right, um, what we call them, although they will be living there, let's say you are buying a house, they will be living there as well. But maybe the wife is not the one who will be paying for the house. This is the husband. Or maybe it's the husband who will not be paying for the house, it's the wife. So in some way, they are also affected as well. All right. And they act as the bystanders. They can force their opinion. They can have a few say in the negotiation process, but the ultimate decision will be on the hand of the one who will be signing the paper, which are the constituencies. Okay. All right. An audience is any individual or group of people who are not directly involved in or affected by a negotiation, but who have a chance to observe and react to the ongoing event and who may at time offer input, advice, or criticism to the negotiators. So usually bystanders and constituents can also serve as audience. All right. If you are constituents, if you are bystanders, you are also known as an audience as well. All right. All right. So can members of negotiating teams who are not actively engaged in dialogue with the other party. So they can also be members, but they are not actively engaged in the dialogue or in the transaction process. And finally, we have the third parties, all right, who are bystanders as well. All right, they may be drawn into the negotiations specifically for the purpose of helping to resolve it. All right, so third parties, all right, they will not be there until the time that they are needed. All right, so third parties often can reshape a polarized situation into a constructive agreement. So they can be very effective as third parties if they have the necessary skills and are seen as neutral. For example, we have valuer. All right, when you are looking for a house, you will ask a valuer or maybe somebody to go and check the condition of the house. So these will be the third parties. All right, or maybe you will have financial advisors, all right, from banks to advise you on which particular loan you should take, for example. So but then they must be someone who are not affiliated to any institution, for example, meaning that they will not draw you into choosing certain things. They will provide you with many kind of options. All right, they will present you with many kind of options for you to choose on your own. All right.
Architect can be the third parties also.
Architect, I think the term, I'm not so what you call that, I'm not so familiar with construction, but I think architect is more on designing. But then the things that they will the person that they will call to evaluate will be the valuer. I think it's the term the value. Anyone quite familiar with this? Is it the term value? I think it's a valuer who will help you to value. I think architect is also a valuer, lah, Madam Ku. I think so. Yes, yes.
Like maybe architect, they can give advice if the owner would like to
Ah,
change the design of the house, and
all
then they
right.
can give input.
All right, right. Yes, very true. All right. So these particular architects are not, so the third parties are not actually people. They can also be people that you hire, but sometimes they can be in terms of your close friend or family members as well, who have the expertise and also the skills needed to provide you advice. So like what Madam Khoo said just now, if you have someone who is an architect, you can always ask them, all right, to be the third party to help you, all right, in valuing or in negotiating or in identifying whether this is the good thing, the good choice or the right thing to be done in a negotiation process. Okay, thank you again, Madam Ko. So other than that, we also have additional team members. All right, the team members, constituents, which are us, the customer, bystanders, and also the others. All right. Additional team members, they are present with the negotiator at the deliberation or at the presentation. Members of the negotiation team may take on one or more important roles. All right. So those who are negotiating in a team, right, they can be the chief spokesperson, expert or resource person on a specific issue, advocate for a particular subgroup with a stake in the outcome. They can be legal or financial counsel. They can be statistician. They can be cost analyst, right? Recording secretary, or they can just be an observer. So these are additional team members that you bring in the negotiation process. But like what I said just now, all right, if you have more members in a negotiating team, all right, usually it will be a bit hard to come to a consensus or to make decision, all right, in a short period of time. Okay, so team members may agree to play a special role in negotiation, but they may also shift into another role as the negotiation evolve. So the most frequent role shift is from being the chief negotiator to being a passive observer who is silent while others are speaking. All right, sometimes you bring someone to the negotiation table to help you to to make counter arguments, for example, or to give the arguments on why we should get this, why we should be having this for a more cheaper price or something like that. But then once you are at the negotiation table, suddenly your team member doesn't say much or doesn't play their role very well, so they have shifted. All right, they have shifted their role from being the negotiator to being just a passive observer. Okay. And of course, going back to the constituency, a constituency is one or more parties whose interests, demand, or priorities are being represented by the focal negotiator at the table. Meaning that you appoint somebody to be the focal negotiator at the negotiation table. So the term constituency usually applies to politics. All right. Elected officials are usually accountable to the voters who elected them. So their constituency. All right. This particular political figure, all right, or politician will represent the constituency. So for example, we have attorneys, all right, accountants, consultants, all right. So their constituents are actually their clients, who are us, all right. So the first relationship is negotiation between the agent and the constituent, all right, or sometimes called negotiating at the back table. Before you come to the negotiation table, all right, you will have further discussion. You will have a prior discussion, and also you will have prior negotiation, all right, with the agent and also you yourself as the constituent. So sometimes the agent is simply told what to do by the constituent or by the customer. At other times, sometimes the agent has their own preferences as well. And those preferences may be different from the constituents, right? Sometimes the agents do have their own opinion, their own choices, their own perspective of negotiation team, all right? So it doesn't have to be aligned with whatever it is that the customer are asking them to do, all right? But yet it depends on the customer himself. Some customers, they will provide you with some guidelines, all right, my agent, you have to follow this. Some customers, all right, you have the expertise, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, all right. Please provide your decision and consult me as well. So meaning that you don't want to have this particular decision to be solely on you. You want your agent, all right, to be involved and also to make the decision as well. All right. So thus the two must collectively decide on what they want to achieve in the negotiation. All right. For example, be it fee for the appearance or advertising or promotion. If we are talking about what you call that, those who are involved in catwalk and things like that, right? So you're gonna have agents to represent the models, okay, and the strategy and tactics of how to get the particular outcome, okay. The second negotiating relationship, all right, is used to maintain by the agent with the other agent, all right, from one agent to the another agent, and also the opposing negotiator, all right, as the two negotiators attempt to reach a viable and effective agreement. So this negotiation usually take place at the front table. All right. So after you have the back table kind of discussion, all right. So the front table or the negotiation table will directly involve you as the agent or the main negotiator with another agent, all right. Or maybe, all right, the other opposing negotiator doesn't have any agent, so he or she will represent himself or herself. Okay. All right, we also have external bystanders and observers. All right, so sometimes negotiating team, the member themselves, they can also act as bystanders and observers. All right, for example, you have your team, your wife or your husband, and then your adult children, lah, for example. Okay, all right. So sometimes they can act as only bystanders and also observers. Doesn't do much, doesn't say much, but sometimes they have something to say as well. Right. So in addition, there may be many bystanders whose interests may not be directly represented in the negotiation or present at the table, but who are affected by the negotiation outcome or have a vantage point from which to observe it, and some strongly to comment on the process or the emerging outcome. For example, you are looking for a house, you are looking for a car. All right, of course, you're going to have your bystanders, which will be your partners' opinion as well to help you on deciding. Right, you're gonna ask your husband, you're gonna ask your wife, you're gonna ask your parents, you're gonna have your brothers, you're gonna ask your good friends, you're gonna hire someone. Sometimes you hire someone, all right, to be your consultant, to advise you, all right, in this particular transaction or negotiation. Okay. All right, being an audience or a customer. All right, these are some of characteristics of an audiences. All right, audiences, they vary according to whether they are physically present at or absent from the negotiation, meaning that they can be at the table with their agent or with their negotiator, or they can just rely on their agent or negotiator to be on the negotiation table themselves without them being present, all right, at the table. All right. So audiences may or may not be dependent on the negotiators for the outcome derived from the negotiation process. Sometimes you want all the decision to be all right on your hand. All right, this is what I want. So please, my agent, all all right, negotiate this term with the other party. Sometimes, all right, you will rely on your agent, all right, to make decision for you as well. Okay. So a third major way in which audiences affect negotiation is by the degree of their involvement in the process, right? Let's say we have a 100% authority, all right? So you want to hold 70%, you want your agent to hold 30%. So whatever it is that your agent is trying to decide, they have to refer to you as well. Sometimes you rely 100% on your agent, all right? Rich people usually, all right, okay, I'm going to give you 1 million, please invest on this money. All right. So rich people, they will be 100% depending on their agents. All right. Sometimes you want to be there. All right. You just want your agent to do all the talking. You will be the one who will be doing all the decision. Okay. Audiences also give periodic feedback to the negotiators, evaluating their effectiveness and letting them know how they are doing. So the audience, which are the customers, all right, they're gonna give feedback. They're gonna tell negotiators, all right, this is what I want. All right, you are doing very fine. Oh, I don't want this. All right, please tell Petronas, okay, to increase the price. All right, please tell Shell to reduce their price. All right, I want to buy the property with this, and this price. All right, let them know. All right, the agent, will be updating you. All right, and you yourself will be giving them the feedback. You will evaluate how they perform, and you will evaluate how effective they are on the negotiation table because you have the power. Okay, because you yourself, as an audience, as a customer, you have the power. Audiences may also be indirectly involved in the negotiation. So indirect involvement occurs when audiences make their own wishes and desire, all right, known through the communication of their ideas, but do not directly try to influence the course of an ongoing negotiation. So usually this kind of audience, they will indirectly express the things that they desire. For example, all right, Shell is offering you 1 million. All right, and then you say to your audience, you say to your agent, all right, I wish the price is better than this, for example. All right, so the agent will straight away know that, all right, it need to be more than 1 million. All right, I want to increase it to 1.5 without you saying that you want it to be 1.5, because if you ask for 1.5, maybe you're going to get 1.3, which is quite a good deal in this particular negotiation process. Okay. All right, audiences and negotiators perspective. All right, from audience to negotiator, negotiator to audience perspective. Audiences, sometimes they make negotiators try harder and also act tougher. I want this with this price, I want this with these particular terms. All right, please do negotiate for me. All right, negotiators seek a positive reaction from an audience. So being a negotiator, as an agent, you will always try to seek positive reaction from your audience by performing well, by negotiating well, by getting the positive outcome that your audience or your customer wants to have. Okay. And then pressure from audiences can push negotiator into irrational behavior. All right. Sometimes, all right, because you are being pressured by your customer as a negotiator, all right, because you are being pressured by your customer or your clients or your audience, all right, you will come up with irrational kind of decision. Okay, which will be in a way mistake that cannot be taken away. All right. Audiences, they hold the negotiator accountable. All right. So in some terms, okay, in some terms, if the negotiation fail or if you do not get the desired outcome, you as a client or as an audience, you can always, right, hold the negotiator accountable or being responsible for the negative outcome for the undesired outcome that you have to go through from this particular negotiation process. All right. And from the negotiator's perspective or dilemma, right? The presence of an audience, particularly an outcome dependent audience. I really want this to happen. I want this particular outcome. I want this particular price. All right. Please do your job. Creates a paradox for negotiators because of two sets of pressure. All right. So one set comes from the constituency and the team. All right. Or from constituency, or what you call that, the audience or the clients, right? Leading the agent to be tough, firm, unyielding, and supportive of the constituency's demand. All right. You as an agent, all right, representing, all right, your constituency as an agent, what you call that, as a negotiator, frontliner, all right. negotiator on the table, all right, you will tend to be tough, you will tend to be firm, you will tend to be unyielding, right? Because you want the outcome to meet the demands of your constituencies or your audience or your customer, right? So the other side comes from the opposing negotiator, right? If let's say you have the opposing negotiator, which is it can be an agent as well. It can also be the negotiator, him or herself, right? And calls upon the negotiator to be flexible, peacemaking, and willing to engage in give and take kind of decision, right? So agents enter negotiation with the challenge of representing the interests of their constituents or their clients or their customer, all right, whereby there are goals established at the back table, all right. So the prior negotiation that you make, all right, with your constituencies, with your constituents, you will bring that right to the negotiation table, right? And you will be showing their interest and also your interest as well. And usually your interest will be aligned with the interest of your clients. All right. So there is often a tension between how much they can pursue their own interest versus the interest of their constituents, and the negotiator must resolve this tension. Okay, for example, you as a property agent, all right, or negotiating, representing your customer, all right, representing your boss or your manager, you really want to sell this house for 1 million, right? Because you think this is the best that you can do. But your boss or your manager has said to you, if the customer are bargaining or asking or negotiating a good price, you can just let go of the house for 950,000, for example, 9.5k, right? 9 point, no, not 9.5k, 950,000, all right, 950,000. So the dilemma is, you are the one who has been selling houses for over than 1 million. Suddenly you have to um, you have to put yourself level down to 900k just to fulfill your boss's goal or the desire of the people that you are negotiating with. Okay, all right. The dilemma is that more trust constituents put in a representative, all right? So if there are more trust being put by customer to representative or negotiator, the more autonomy and freedom the representative or the negotiator or the agent will feel to create value with other negotiators, right? Because you are being given all the power, you are being given all the authority to negotiate, all right, based on your knowledge, your experience, and the skills that you have, all right. You will be creating, you will be having, you will be creating a value, right, with the other negotiators. Okay, so the more they are involved in creating value, the more difficult it may be to go back and persuade constituents that the new solution truly represent the original interest of the constituents, right? So when you have already created value with your opposing negotiator, all right, okay, dah jadi member lah, for example, you be being a good friend, or have good relationship, all right. So the terms or the agreement that you have come up with, all right, doesn't really represent whatever it is wanted by your client or your constituents, all right. So your client or constituent will be your boss or your manager, for example. They want a house to be sold for 1 million, all right, but because you have already created value with the opposing negotiator, so you decided that the best price should be 9.5 or 950,000. All right. So going back to your client, which is your boss or your manager, all right, presenting 950,000 is not the desirable outcome that your boss or manager wanted, because they have already said that they want 1 million. Okay. Managing constituencies and audiences. So clarify the role, expectation, and also performance contract. So constituents or clients, they can negotiate either behavior contracts, all right, or outcome contracts with their agent. So behavior contract simply require the agent to perform at a specific set of behavior. All right, for example, take an attorney to provide adequate representation in a legal matter. While outcome contract is the reward that agent can get for achieving certain outcomes. For example, having the opponent to drop the lawsuit, or having the good price. All right, having a good price, you will be rewarded by your constituents. Okay. Sorry. Clarify authority to make agreements. So in addition to clarifying role and performance expectation, an agent should also clarify how much authority they have to accept the opposing negotiators offer without consulting the constituents. So will you be solely depending on my decision, or you want me to consult you as well? All right, as an agent here, do you want me to consult you as well, or you want to be there on the table and also have your say on the table and also provide your opinion and also decide with me on the table as well. So you need to clarify how much authority you as an agent will be having. Okay. Manage constituency visibility and also communication by limiting one's own concession by making negotiation visible to the constituency. All right. Tell everything, the process, all right, the flow of negotiation to your clients or constituency, and use the constituency to show militancy. Militancy sounds very violent, right? But militancy here means that you make the constituency visible, meaning that you always show or you always present your customers' intention and let them demonstrate that they are more extreme, more radical, more committed, and inflexible than the agent. For example, all right, I have to offer you 1 million because this is what my customer wanted, or this is what my boss wanted. All right, this is not from my perspective. I will not be gaining anything. So always put the blame. All right, always put the blame on the people that you are representing, or on your constituents, or on your clients. All right. So use the constituency to limit one's own authority and use great caution in exceeding one's authority. Please, if your clients or your constituent has already put a guideline for you to follow, do not exceed that guidelines and do not go beyond the authority given to you. Okay. All right. Here we have some tips on when to use an agent and when to negotiate for yourself. All right, so please you can go through everything, all of this on your own. All right, for example, when the agent has distinct or unique knowledge or skills in the issue or the negotiation context, all right, that are essential to achieving an agreement because you don't have the skills, you know nothing about property, you know nothing about the market price that we are having right now. So have an agent to consult you and also to give you advices on these things, all right? So the rest you can read on your own. All right. When to negotiate for yourself. All right. When you want to develop or re-establish a strong personal relationship with the other negotiator. All right. When you need to repair a damaged relationship, when you want to learn a lot about the other party before you craft an agreement by using informal meetings, dialogue, and conversation. So usually you will negotiate yourself because you want to establish and also maintain relationship with the other party that you are negotiating with. Usually, all right, when you went into the first time of meeting, all right, the party that you are negotiating with, if you think that this person um, can bear with you and you can come up with a a mutual agreement, all right, win-win kind of situation, then you will straight away go and negotiate for yourself. But if you think that the other party is very hard to negotiate with, all right, so usually you're gonna assign an agent or you're gonna assign someone else to represent you, do all the talking, do all the negotiating process on the negotiation table. All right, you can read every single one of this on your own as well, and how you will be managing your agents. All right, of course you're going to check out your agent's credential and qualification like what Madam Khoo said just now. All right, if you are looking for people who are so-called architect or evaluator or valuer, things like that, make sure they are credible, they have all the credentials, they have all the skills, expertise, experience, and also the qualification needed. All right, spend some time to get to know the agent. All right, and you should focus most of your communication to the agent on your interests, priorities, and alternative. All right, so always have chit chat session or the back table kind of negotiation process whereby everything that you want will be laid out to your agents and your agent will be delivering your intention only based on the guidelines and the layout that you have provided. All right, the rest you can read on your own. Okay, all right. Okay, any question on this one? I think this is not that hard at all.
So one, the
Yes, please.
agent also can be used in cosmetics or even they sell cakes or also can.
All right. I think the kind of agents that you are saying are kind of like what you call that, a representative or agents who are representing the product. Is it? I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. All right. Okay. So in that particular terms, all right. Usually these particular agents, they will be, I'm not going to say negotiating, because sometimes it depends on how much authority that you are giving to your agents or to the people that you working for you or who are doing the job for you. But if let's say, because sometimes when we go and we negotiate, right, sometimes they will tell you, saya kena tanya boss dulu lah, saya kena call boss dulu lah, meaning that they don't have 100% authority, all right, on reducing or giving you free gift or things like reducing prices, giving you free gift or giving you a good bargain, all right. Sometimes, all right, there are certain shops, all right, usually shops who are kiosk, what we call that, all right, franchisee, all right, franchise kind of shop whereby you are the total owner, all right, but still you are also giving away, or not giving away, you are also giving some percentage, all right, to the owner, the real or the actual owner of the branding, right? But because you are there, you are in control, you are running the franchise, all right, so you will have 100% authority to negotiate. So it depends on how much authority are being given to you, all right, to run the negotiation process. So if let's say you are an agent of apa nama produk Avon lah, for example, okay, for example, all right, usually you're gonna have to answer to HQ what kind of promotion that they are giving, because this particular product is not like a product that you can mark up, all right, you can get the price quite high and suddenly you can sell it with a very cheap price, all right, because this is a particular product that have a very specific price set by HQ, right? So if HQ said, okay, we're gonna sell this for 50% next month in conjunction with Chinese New Year, so you can negotiate. They can the customers, all right, they can negotiate with you, but most of the time, not much discount will be given, right? Because one, you have the obligation, right, to follow whatever it is HQ has already set for you, and number two, you also want to gain profit, all right, from the business that you are doing as well. Okay, so in my perspective, it is more on how much authority being given to you, right? Regardless of how big the businesses that you are running, regardless how expensive or how cheap the products that you are selling, depends on the authority that you are having. Okay. All right. Oh, alamak. Battery. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for your opinion.
Thank you.
All right. All right.
Mr. Wan.
Yes, Madam Khoo.
Can you please explain further on negotiation diat? Is it a special term or
Okay.
or what is it?
Negotiation diet here means interaction, one-to-one interaction. So diet is actually one-to-one interaction. So traditionally, when you negotiate, you're gonna have you and also the person that you are negotiating with. All right. So it's not a technical term actually. It's just a term. It's just another term used to represent what you call that. It's just a synonym for interaction or discussion or having having a talk session. All right, one-to-one session with another person. Right? It's not a technical term for negotiation. It's just a term, a synonym for interaction between two person. Madam Khoo.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, most welcome. All right, so because this is the final lesson of this week, so next week we'll be having our third assessment, which is the end of semester quiz or task lah. All right, so it will be quite similar with what we are having with our final exam, say the previous interpersonal communication kind of exam, but we are not doing it during the exam session. We will be doing it during the final week of the semester, which is on week 14. Okay. So please, those who haven't submitted your assignment, right, please try to do so, right, as soon as possible. Okay. And then for next week, all right, don't worry, all right, the question have already been prepared. Okay. I'm gonna post them in our e-campus, all right, and it will be almost like what we had last semester for interpersonal communication, whereby you will be doing an exam, no exam lah, test, end of semester test, all right. I think it's for 2 hours, right? But I will open it for 24 hours, all right. I'm gonna open it for the whole day, all right. Once you log in to this particular test, you will have to finish it within 2 hours, all right. So I'm gonna provide you with the topics or the what you call that, the chapters, All right. I'm going to provide you with what are the chapters that will come out, all right, in the test. Okay. And also, I'm going to give you the slides of the things that will come out in the test. All right. Everything is taken from the slides. Don't worry. None of it will be something which is taken outside of the slides. Whatever it is that I have presented to you, all right, will be tested in there. And if I'm not mistaken, it only involves 4 slides, only 4 chapters only. Okay, so it's a very simple one, right? You're gonna have what you call that multiple choice, which is A, B, C, D, right? And also another 2 essay question, which is very simple. Don't worry. Okay, all right. So I'm just gonna ask you: would you prefer to do it at night on Monday? I mean, like the whole Monday, or do you prefer to shift it to weekends, whereby you can like relax, all right, spend that 24 hours waiting for the right time or the right mood for you to straight away do your test, which is an open book test, all right? It is an open book test, all right? What's your call on this? Want to do it on Monday during class hour, or you want to do it on weekends?
So Wan, is it
Yes,
that means we have to write an assignment or it is a quiz?
it's a quiz whereby I'm going to open it for 24 hours, and once you have access, you're going to finish it within 2 hours. So you have time limit over there.
So the submission will be within 2 hours, or the 24 hours is the question will be accessible, is it?
At 24 hours, question will be accessible. So within that 24 hours, you decide when you want to do it. Let's say I'm going to open it like starting midnight today until midnight tomorrow. So in between these 2 midnights, so you choose lah maybe you want to do it at 10 until 12. Maybe you want to do it 2 until 4. Maybe you want to do it 4 until 6. Because once you have access to the quiz, you have to finish it within 2 hours. That's how the quiz will go.
Got it, sir. Thank
All right,
you.
okay. Very easy lah, don't worry, very easy one. I'm gonna
Then
give
I
you
guess
yes.
it's up to you then, Sir Wan. I'm okay.
Alright.
Anytime.
Those who are working, because I know that maybe you wanna have some times to like go through the slides or something, or because when you come back to work, suddenly you have to do tests or something, and then it's already like so maybe can I open it on weekends? Let's say.
Yeah, sure.
Right. What about Saturday? Is
I'm
it okay to do
with
it on Saturday?
Saturday, sir.
Sorry?
I'm okay with Saturday because Sunday I'm working also.
Oh, so you have only one holiday on every week.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna open it on Saturday, beginning Friday midnight. All right. So it will be open until Saturday midnight. So that's your 24-hour window. Is it okay?
Okay.
Right,
Okay,
okay, so
sir.
you can like begin straight away at 12 or 2 a.m. until Saturday's midnight. Right, I think it should be okay. All right. Okay, and other than that, please finish up and submit the 2 assignments that I've given before as well. Okay, and you will not be having any final exam. So during the final exam week, all right, you will not be having any exam. You will just be waiting for us to finish up marking the test and also the assignments. Okay.
Sir, sorry, Sabtu bila, sir?
Sabtu next week, not this week. Sabtu next week will be, sorry this weekend will be 15, 22. 22 is the final week, is the 14th week of the semester. 22nd.
Okay, sir. Sir, sorry, tak
Alright.
berapa faham tadi. Maksudnya 24 jam
Okay.
tu, 24 jam tu kita boleh tengok ke question tu? Atau
Okay,
macam 2 jam tu je?
okay, macam ni. Quiz tu 2 jam. Okay. Tapi the quiz will be open for 24 hours maknanya. Okay, you can answer the quiz within this 24 hours starting Friday 12 midnight until Saturday 11:59 p.m. So, within that 24-hour gap, you choose lah pukul berapa nak buat. Okay, saya nak buat lepas subuh lah. Pukul 6. Pukul 6, bila dah start jawab tu, begin test, So you have 2 hours to finish. 6 sampai 8 lah. Sampai pukul 8 tu siap ke, tak siap ke, tertidur ke, automatic submit. Macam tu. So saya tak set. Okay guys, we're gonna do our test at 10 AM. So semua orang ramai-ramai, okay, kita sama-sama buat 10 AM sampai 12. Saya tak set macam tu lah, tak macam exam biasa lah. So saya set 2 jam untuk buat the test tapi within this 24 hour period. So you choose lah, mungkin Madam Ku nak buat at 8, mungkin Rabiah nak buat pukul 10 lagi, mungkin David nak buat pukul 2, mungkin Zarah nak buat lepas asar pukul 4. Tapi once you start, sampai pukul 6 lah kena habiskan. Mungkin Madam Wani dia ekstrim sikit, dia nak buat pukul 10 sampai 11.59, ikut dia lah. Janji bila dia dah access tu 2 jam kena siap. Kalau kata 2 jam tu tak siap juga, baru sampai essay 1, essay 2 tak buat lagi, automatic submit. Dia macam tu. Dia ada time period, time span dia. Macam tu. Okay ke?
Okay.
Alright, okay. Don't worry, it's an open book test. Tapi open book pun dia tak adalah seketul-seketul. What are the objective? Kita pun salih objektif ni apa. It will be playing with your perspective on how you negotiate, alright, and also sharing experience on how some negotiation process has occurred, alright, within your environment. Macam kita buat interpersonal dulu lah, lebih kurang macam tu je.
How many questions the one that we have to answer?
Alright, 10 question for objective, which is ABCD, and another 2 question for a subjective or written test. Alright, so 2 short essays lah. One essay will be like, I think 150 to 200. Not like essay macam descriptive essay or something, meaning that you have to answer in a subjective form. Macam tu. Just like doing assignment, but this one is a test.
Okay.
Alright, okay. Okay, any more question? Alhamdulillah.
So when the 4 topic that you will inform us of the 4 topic that will be covered in the test?
Can I give it to you by tomorrow?
Sure, sir.
Alright, okay, because I'm still waiting for Dr. Azman to approve the topic, but he said it's already approved, but he will inform me again tomorrow. Okay? Alright, so I guess that's all for today. Stop sharing. Alright, so thank you very much, alright, for your time and also commitment with the class. So again, please complete your assignment, alright, and try to submit your assignment by the end of this week. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. So I'll see you again. I'm not going to be seeing you again, but I'll always be there in our WhatsApp group and everything. You can always ask me a question, anything that you need to ask, anything that you don't understand. All right, and beyond arts and science negotiation, beyond interpersonal communication, you can also, keep in touch and ask things after we have already finished this semester. All right. So thank you very much. I'll see your Jesse over there, David. Okay. All right. So thank you very much. I'll see you again. All right. Next week, inshallah. Okay. So Assalamualaikum and have a very good night, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.